All right. Well, it is a packed Saturday morning here in beautiful British Columbia, Canada, for BottosCon 2022. It is technically now day two. I have been here all day yesterday playing games. Got very little footage and very little ability to walk around during the convention because it was just nonstop games all day. And I'll show you some of the stuff that we played yesterday, but I was up very late. I was up till like 3 in the morning finishing a game with some people. We were the last people in the room. We closed it down. We closed it up when we were finished. But there's been a lot of activity. There's been a lot of games being played. Some stuff that was being played yesterday that's still continuing into today. So I figured we'd do a morning walk around and show you everything that's going on up here. BottosCon happened last year, but this is the first year that it's back in full force. A lot of faces I haven't seen since before the pandemic. Everyone's having a great time. It feels kind of like a reunion of sorts for people who come to this particular event up here in the Northwest. And I brought Seljuk. We did some demos yesterday. We played about half a campaign game in the afternoon. That was pretty fun. I don't have any video of that, but I will show you where we left off and kind of take you through some of that stuff. And we'll go look at the sale room, and we'll just see all the stuff that's happening this morning. It's the most crowded day of the convention, most likely, and there's a lot of stuff on the tables that's really interesting. So let's go take a look. Obviously here by the Fraser River in the outskirts of Vancouver, BC. Just a wonderful day. It's chilly outside. We had a lot of wind last night, but as you can see, fall in full swing up here in the Pacific Northwest. Inside, however, it's time for gaming. Let's start with Seljuk, the prototype. Again, if you've seen some of the recent coverage I've done for the channel, the prototype here, brought it up, played about half a campaign game yesterday. We started in spring of 1068, and we made it to the autumn of 1069 turn. We had some pretty dramatic battles here at the end between the Seljuks and the Eastern Romans in and around Keltzine. You can see it's been ravaged and conquered by the Turks as they came out of Ani in the north. Here are some of the lords that are in play for the Seljuk player. Both sides have taken some major casualties. Alp Arslan, obviously, the Sultan. Ibn Khan is still in the game down in Syria, in Hama, which has been pretty good management of his service by the Roman player, the Seljuk player. Actually, he had a very amazing first year. The 1068 year, I've never seen a Seljuk player do this well on their loot gathering, but they managed to return 5 loot to the Sultanate. And that's given him a very, very healthy lead, despite the Romans doing a good job down here, conquering some of these small fortresses on the border. They did get an event that gave them control of one of these Lake Van small citadels, and they did achieve a strategic objective, this purple marker there. So I think the score was 9-6, or I think 9.5-6 when we left off. I left it set up this way in case we get a chance to continue playing. But we've had people coming by and checking it out. Here's Afshin Bey. You can see some of the capabilities that he chose. I was playing the Romans that he chose for his lords. We've got shock tactics and armor for Alp Arslan's Turkic horse. We've got support from Aleppo here from Ibn Khan and some of the others. And on the Roman side, I'll show you some of the Roman lords. Andronicus Ducas just came into play. The Seljuk player levied, what's the name of the card? Imperial Rivalry. So the Romans were forced to try and muster him every turn. As you can see, his fealty very low. So wasted some lordship points doing that, but he's finally in the game. We got Robert Crepin fully outfitted now with his Norman heavy cavalry. No loyalty checks as of yet, but they can always happen. Here's the Emperor. He's piled up. He was piled up with Thamada. As you can see, a lot of these Thamada died in battle. The Emperor was levying, and that's why you can see there's big holes here now in the defense as you head towards sort of the interior of Anatolia. And we have Chadatorios who's back in the game. Big turn here when we get to the spring of 1070. A lot of lords services up, especially with the Turks. We'll see if they can maintain their service. But we do have one more season before that happens. Of course, the Emperor here is in danger during the payment phase. So that was Seljuk. We're having a good time. I really like the way that this particular game has unfolded. Pretty back and forth, pretty wild swings, but still pretty close, pretty winnable. Over here, what do we got? We got a game of Triumph and Tragedy happening. Looks like they're still pretty early in that one. Good 3-player game. Obviously the ASL tournament happening all over in this part of the room all weekend. Looks like Dune Imperium
This one is a good card, but I can't actually.
It's been a very popular
There's no
game this
icons
year.
on it?
Ooh, we got High Frontier.
What do you need again? You need a Robonaut and a factory.
High Frontier is a great game, space exploration. I think they were setting that up last night. This is High Frontier 4th edition, it looks like. I know the map looks like a scribble, but it's actually pretty intuitive to use once you understand how to play the game. These are all orbital orbits around the sun, and you transit these orbits at these orbital points to get out further into the outer solar system, which is the whole point of the game. You have a player board here. You're building your own rockets, launching missions using fuel, and trying to accomplish objectives to score points. There's a lot of really interesting stuff in this game, one of my favorites. Here we've got Virgin Queen. How's it going with Virgin Queen?
It's been a slow start.
Slow start?
This is Impulse 2 of turn 1.
Oh my goodness, what time do you guys start playing?
Well, first we had to punch the game.
Ah, a virgin copy of Virgin Queen.
Still even had the prophylactic on it.
Oh wow. Okay, well that was probably fun. When's the last time anyone punched Virgin Queen, right?
And then finally,
They're still pretty early there.
punch her in the face.
Nice, we're gonna be playing that in a couple weeks. I'm very excited. Is Thunder in the Ozarks, Blind Swords. Hello, one of my fellow players from God Kings last night.
2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, we didn't get to bed till like 3. How are you feeling today?
I was late.
So was I.
You're videoing, aren't you?
Yes.
Hi, come
Hi.
on, play games, have fun. I didn't name the convention. I'm not that vain.
This is, of course, Rob, who runs the convention here in Vancouver, playing a little Revolution Games Thunder in the Ozarks.
Dick, I meant to ask. When we recently
Wonderful map.
where the chicks didn't go in.
Wonderful
Where the
map.
Confederate ones didn't go in.
Looks like, yeah, pretty good.
Because the Confederate ones were here.
That's awesome. Blind Swords. There's some good stuff for sale on Blind Swords. Hello, Fire in the Lake. Are you guys playing 2 players?
This is the Fall of Saigon expansion.
Oh, very cool. Awesome. I am excited to break this out and play it. Yeah. Ah, look, there we go. Just recently released.
Yes.
Awesome. Very cool. That's one that I got to get to the table. We got some 18XX folks over here playing a lot of 18XX games. Yesterday was all 18XX. Today, more 18XX. That's a game type that I have yet to get into, but I would like to. Got a game of Red Storm happening over here. I believe yesterday they were playing Red Storm Baltic Approaches, so it's just all World War III air combat all the time at this table. That one's been pretty popular this year as well. I've seen it at wargaming conventions. Here's a Wings of War set that this person has brought, a custom Giant 2 mapper. They're gonna probably get a group game going later. Looks like they're setting up World War I aerial game. There's always a big crowd for this one at this convention. Looks pretty nice.
One of these will have ability to do that.
And that's your turn because you're exploring
Right here?
Looks like a Space 4X game. No, I'll take a picture. Sure. What are you guys playing? Oh, this is Eclipse. Is this the new version? Awesome. Man, they've really like pumped up the production quality on this version.
Yeah, I've never played it.
Oh my goodness.
I just bought the first edition.
The sale room. Yeah. Awesome.
It's your societal.
I haven't played Eclipse in quite a long time. Yeah, let me take a picture. I'll be right back. So yeah, the new version of Eclipse looks really nice production value, and it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, it looks like there's no more board. It looks like you just put the tiles out and explore them, or set up the galaxy with tiles only. I think I can't remember if there used to be a board or not. I haven't played Eclipse in so long. It looks really, really nice. More Dune Imperium here. We got some bigger games happening over on this side. The room's a little tight, but there's a lot of people here. Stalingrad 42. Just recently picked this up. Looks like they're setting up for a game. Can't wait to play this at some point in my life. Twilight Imperium.
Yep.
4th edition.
Yep.
Awesome. I love the map inlays here for the custom built Twilight Imperium galaxy map.
Well, I was planning on upgrading.
That's very epic.
So take your chitty back.
Very epic. Look at how big that is on the table. Oh, it's like a fun time. This is a game I need to play more of. Looks like they're setting up there. We got a game over here. It looks like of Western Empires. Ah, nice. another game of Western Empires. Looks like they're playing with 6 players, so some of the areas are going to be out of play. Everyone's jammed in there in the Aegean.
8 players.
8 players. Okay, very nice. I just watched a 9-player game of this a couple weeks ago when I was down at GMT. Nice to see this getting on tables.
Yeah. It's an old favorite, sort of.
Yeah. When are we doing the 18-player version? With the combined Eastern map.
Next time.
Next year? 18? Let's do it. I'm in. 18 players. We'll do it all weekend.
We need to book
We
that.
need to have 4 tables, 5 tables.
Well, you've already got you've got 2 here. You've got a 3rd one back there with all the technology on it. I'm in. If you want to do the 18-player version, I'm totally in. Yeah, me too, right? So get an excuse to get it going. Yeah, so here's all the technology advances. The game is all about building your, like I told about in the GMT video, the game is about building your empires, expanding with your population, building cities, and each empire is trying to advance on this board based on certain criteria. So every turn there's a chance for you to advance up, and it's based on what you achieve in that turn. Part of what you achieve are all these technology abilities. They give you special powers. They help contribute to researching new technologies. It's a freaking awesome game. There's a lot of blue sky strategy opportunities for it. I'll get out of their way so they can keep playing, but you can hook this up with the Eastern Empires, which goes all the way to India, and play with 18 players just in a massive game. What's cool about it is most of the turns are real time, so everyone's doing all the things together at the same time. So it moves pretty quick early. Nice to see that getting some love. Let's go see what's out in the foyer this morning. Well, we got the coffee bar, that's nice. Get some coffee, some tea, some water. Got more tables out here. This looks like a naval game. I'm not sure which one. Maybe Flying Colors, maybe something
You got a
else.
6 in wreck play.
Maybe this is the Clash of Arms
The whole
one.
column of everything. I got
Looks
a
like
5.
naval game. Here's Heart of Darkness from Legion. This is cool. Looks like someone's going to be playing this. I've been very curious about this game. It's kind of like an adventure game about exploring Africa, obviously with a title like Heart of Darkness. From what I understand, it treats its theme pretty respectfully. It's not super... I don't know what the word I'm looking for there is, but I think it's more pulpy than it is super realistic. But I've heard good things. Conquest of Paradise, just played a game of that this last weekend. A ton of fun. It's a really, really good 4X that you can play in about 3.5 hours about exploring Polynesia. I'm wondering if he's going to try and get a game later. That would be interesting to play again.
If no opponents have cards in their hand,
Archaeology, one of my favorites. It's a fun set-taking game of cards where you're trying to dig up stuff. Here we got a Columbia block game. Liberty, American Revolution. And some custom painted minis down there. That's pretty nice. Look at that.
It looks like a much better game than the old Avalon.
Definitely.
That's pretty cool. Never seen this one. Usually the Columbia games I say are like Richard III or Hammer of the Scots. Let's go take a look in the sale room this morning. I haven't been in there yet. And yeah. Before I do that, the one thing I should say is, let's turn the camera around. So the one thing I should say is, I told you I would talk about what we played yesterday. So yesterday I got a chance to dust off the old classic Commands and Colors Ancients and play with my partner who's here with me. And we had a really good time. We played the Battle of Cannae from the core game, and it was her first time playing Commands and Colors. She really enjoyed it. She wants a rematch immediately. I was the Romans. I ended up winning and changing history by not adopting the strategy that the Romans did historically in the Battle of Cannae. And so I'll show you the aftermath of that right now. All right, first game of the weekend. It was Commands and Colors Ancients. Broke out the Battle of Cannae from the Second Punic War. I was the Romans, and I did the thing that the Romans didn't do, which was just funnel guys into the center to get run down by Carthaginian cavalry. A lot of heavy losses on both sides, and the Romans ended up winning it here. They got to 7 to the Carthaginians 4 with a medium infantry attack in the center. It's been a while since I played Commands and Colors Ancient, so I had to refresh myself on some of the nuances of the rules, but it did remind me how much I love it. And I'm looking forward to playing this and breaking this out more now that I've taught you how to play.
next time I will win.
She always wins the second game is the rule of how this goes. So, but yeah, this is a classic, and there's a reason it's a classic. I've been thinking recently about how much I want to pick up the Commands and Colors Tricorn from Compass, the American Revolution era version of this system. I hear really good things, and I'm just such a sucker for Commands and Colors. I don't know why. Anyways, this is a good one. So that was CNC Ancients. That was a lot of fun. We're going to try and play that again this weekend if we get some time. What do we got in this room this morning? Oh, it is bright. Looks like a prototype in here with Brian Train. Oh, is this coin? Oh, is this a Canadian coin game? Oh, look at that.
It was designed by a guy called Vesa, our opponent. I got to know him because he did the bot for Colonial Twilight, which I designed.
Take a look at that a little bit later. Looks like Brian Train's doing an explanation about it. Looks like a coin game about Canada. Speaking of Canada, here we are. Very interesting. Very interesting. He's talking about how it took design inspiration from All Bridges Burning, so it looks like a 3-player coin game about Canada. That's pretty cool. If it's got Brian Train's name on it, I will definitely buy it. Here's the sale room. Let's see what we got. We got a copy of Dominant Species. There's a sealed copy of Hungarian Rhapsody under here. That's interesting. Art is selling it. Interesting. Do I need Hungarian Rhapsody? I mean, I want Hungarian Rhapsody for my OCS collection. Got a copy of Genesis in here. Roll for the Galaxy, sealed. That's pretty nice. What else? Got a copy of the Napoleonic Wars First Edition. Not just war games here. People selling some other things. Copy of the God Kings. Speaking of the God Kings, we played the God Kings. That's why we were up so late last night. We played the God Kings, the entire campaign, all 10 turns with 4 of us. We started at about 7:30 at night. We finished at about 2:30 in the morning. It was a blast. I finished in last, but that was because I was playing the Mittani and getting my ass handed to me basically from the get-go. But what a great game. It's the best game on the Bronze Age that I have played. It's a CDG kind of in the style of Hannibal or Sword of Rome. 4 players. You're basically trying to control sort of the Middle East in the, basically from 1600 to 1250 BC, something like that. And it was just a ton of fun. And actually, I'll show you that now because we played it and I managed to take a video right at the end as everyone was falling asleep at the table. All right, well, we just spent the last, 6-7 hours playing the God Kings from Compass Games, where we have finished. We did the entire campaign. Nobody won early, getting 20 points in a turn. We got to the end of turn 10, and this is the final state of things, which looks, other than sort of this stuff up here, looks remarkably similar to the beginning state of things. But it was a definite push-pull tug-of-war. The final score, you had me here was the Assyrians, and well, I started as the Mittani, and you become the Assyrians. 79, not very impressive. We had the Hadi here; they had 97. We had the Babylonians with 100, and on the final turn, the Egyptians got 101 points. So it was extremely tight right down to the end. I think we can credit many different things for this victory, but definitely taking control of Cyprus was kind of prescient, like in the beginning. This is a great game if you haven't played it. It's a card-driven game, kind of in the style of Hannibal or Sword of Rome or similar games like that. And it is a slugfest between 4 factions with some really interesting mechanics. You get a lot of cool leader death transformation happening that can really affect your turn. There's a lot of really interesting take that cards. We actually equated it a bit to Wellington, if you've ever played that, except it's, of course, the Bronze Age. But highly recommend it if you haven't had a chance to play it. It was awesome to get this played all the way through. I don't think I've ever done that before. And yeah, we're all exhausted, so it's going to be time for bed. But fucking fantastic all the way around. So yeah, there's God Kings. This game I think is out of print from Compass now, but it was able to be bought very cheap. It's a great game. I don't understand why people don't play it as much as some of the other CDGs like the Napoleonic Wars, because it's in that style of game and it's very, very good, surprisingly so. I don't know if Compass is ever going to reprint it, but if you ever get a chance to play it, I highly recommend you do it. It's a really interesting game. The cards, it's got a kind of a feel of Wellington. The cards are very like, take that. Okay, what do we got in here? We got the MMP version of Fire in the Sky, Manifest Destiny. What else are people selling? Some RPG stuff, Traveler. Got some Euros, Risk, Lord of the Rings, Rumble in the Desert from Colombia. The original Victory Games Peloponnesian War, look at that. Hold the Line Frederick's War, interesting. This is a pretty light game. It's kind of like Commands and Colors. It's got a similar kind of vibe to it, but that's interesting. I wonder if I should pick that up. Frederick's War, Hold the Line. Hold the Line system was kind of like Worthington's answer to CNC. Copy of Distant Plain. That's a nice, good one if you wanted to pick that up and you were here. Got some old MMP and GMT stuff. Stalin's War, Guadalajara, Chancellorsville, Clash of Arms. That's interesting. It's an old Clash of Arms game right there. What else? We got Great War Commander. Nice. This is the Combat Commander for World War One. I actually own these. It's a great game. I have not played the World War II version, but I understand they're pretty similar. Got someone selling their copies of Friedrich and Maria. These are fantastic games as well. Got the new version of Hannibal from Phalanx. Some GMT stuff. Copy of Virgin Queen for sale. Polis. This is an awesome game about the Peloponnesian War I own. This is the second edition. I own this version. It's quite good. It's a really interesting mix of Euro and war game and strategy game. It's really unlike most other games about this particular topic and totally worth playing. Liberty or Death, Clash of Monarchs, Star Wars Rebellion. Ooh, interesting. Got the Rebellion expansion here. I don't have that. What else do we have? Copy of Scythe up for sale. Ooh, old GMT game, 1995. Crisis Sinai, 1973. Got War of the Ring, second edition for sale here. The other one I was, this person's got some interesting games. Got the Gonzalo the Cauldron. Oh, here's interesting. Here's a game by Kerry Anderson, who recently did Ypres for Revolution. Clash of Empires, A Battle for France, 1914, World War I. Denis Sauvage, The Marshals, from Ludopoli. Huh. He has recently done the, for Shakos, the Napoleon 1806, 1807, 1815 game. I'm really curious, actually. This guy, Daniel Thorpe, has some really interesting games for sale. Here's Storm Over Dien Bien Phu from MMP. At any cost, Metz, a copy of this. This is out of print. This is basically brand new. I looked in here yesterday. Like, I really was thinking about picking this up because I played it, obviously, at GMT earlier this year, or maybe, yeah, earlier this year, and it was a ton of fun. I like the Blind Sword system. It's basically in perfect condition. Interesting. Franco-Prussian War, not a lot of games on it. What else? Yeah, a bunch of stuff here. Some more MMP stuff. Thought about maybe grabbing Panzer Battles as well. Yeah, so that's what's going on in the sale room right now. We're about to set up and start playing some John Company. I'll check in later after we do that, and yeah, join me. We got some more gaming tonight. We're going to be playing John Company. We're going to be playing Westphalia. You'll get some clips from that, and then tomorrow we're going to be playing Warsaw 1920, and I'll wrap it all up then. So maybe do a couple more walkarounds as well. Oh yeah, I couldn't forget this one, Napoleon's Eagles, Austerlitz. Looks like they're playing the whole thing. Love the map.
Swings to the north. Yeah. These guys here.
Looks like the French are holding them off. Around the river over here. Austrians trying to cross the bridge there, it looks like. Love this system, want to play more of it. Just picked up a copy of this recently. All right, we just finished up John Company 2nd edition. We did the 1710 scenario. That final score, though, right there. The company failed in the final revenue phase of the final turn, which was turn 5 of 1710. It was extremely tight all the way down. We had a bunch of retirements. Red was in last place, and they had amassed so much money by becoming the president of Bombay and Bengal and the governor of Madras on the final turn that they were able to retire a bunch of their family members and jumped into the lead. And then Red was winning. Purple jumped up from the power bonus. I was right there with blue, right behind. I'd been leading for most of the game. And then the company failure condition on the card made people lose points for their governorships. And so green and red lost 2 points, which put purple in the lead, and he ended up winning. He started as our chairman. He had the most shares in the company. And despite the penalty for the company failing and losing points, he still managed to win, which is pretty crazy. This is a freaking great game. It's so much better than the first edition. It's really interesting. If you like games like Republic of Rome or Westphalia or any really negotiation game, there's a lot of really interesting stuff here. I think this is one of Cole's best games. I think right up there with PAX Pamir. This is just an ingenious design. The production on this is really, really good. And yeah, this is one of those games that I would play at every show moving forward just because of how interesting it is with the player relations. There's a lot of politicking and like the sort of semi-cooperative nature of it makes for some really interesting situations where people are trying to you're trying to get people to put aside their personal interests so that the game can continue so you can try and claw out a victory. But yeah, it was phenomenal. Highly recommend this if you haven't picked it up to do so. If you like intense negotiation games. All right, here we are. It is Saturday evening. There's been a lot of games going on today. We just finished a game of Westphalia, which I didn't get a chance to show you before we started cleaning up. I lost some pieces. I had to go find them on the floor. Everyone won except me, as Sweden, and the French player. We both lost. I missed my debt goal by 1 debt. If I had just figured out a way to reduce debt by 1 more, not taken one sometime during the game, I would have won. But Westphalia is one of my favorite negotiation games. It's been a day of heavy negotiation games. We're coming into the final games of the evening for most people, so I figured I'd just do a walk around here as we conclude that Columbia War of 1812 happening there.
Lucky me.
A lot of Columbia games happening on that table. Merchant of Venus. The old Merchant of Venus, the original, the OG.
That's classic Avalon Hill.
That's right. That's cool. Battlestar Galactica, this is a staple of the convention. Played it last year, very fun. That's a game that I think someone else should pick up, I feel like. Imperial Struggle. 18 mechs. Lots of 18XX at this table. That's all they've been playing. Looks like we got some MBT set up. Maybe? Yeah, look at that. This game of Thunder in the Ozarks is still going. Still going at it.
We are still going at it. We're going to try to get to the end of turn 9, which is where scenario 1 would have ended.
Yeah.
But it's been quite the battle.
Yeah, looks like.
Turn 2, Price was wounded, so my commander only activates on a 1 or a 2. So it's been very hard to get any kind of momentum going. Although last turn I got some lucky die rolls. Whereas over here I've been very consistent, but almost all my units have taken heavy casualties.
I see that.
So like the 5 is their strength, the 2 is the cohesion. If a unit is in heavy woods, they're not supported, so his actually has a cohesion of 1. It's very...
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get the red ones.
Yeah.
He's trying to get the black ones, but I've managed to do a run down here, so it could be kind of dicey.
And this is what, you're on turn 8 you've been playing? So
we were going to try to get through all 26 turns, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, especially because you and I have a game of Warsaw 1920 tomorrow morning.
Exactly. We have a game in the morning.
11:30 to 3 p.m. Well,
But
pretty good.
It's a blind sword system by
Herman Lutman. Yeah.
Revolution Games. I learned to play this down at PacificCon in 2016. The guys at Revolution are great guys to deal with, and they make some really good products.
I met them at GMT a couple weeks ago. They were there testing Perrysville. Well, that's going to do it for tonight. As people buy games, head to bed. I will be back tomorrow morning, and I will catch up with the end of this video for you. Thanks for watching. All right, Sunday morning, just finished up the game of Warsaw 1920 that you're about to see. All right, Warsaw 1920 in the bag here on Sunday. I was the Russians. I basically destroyed the Polish army, as you can see, all of these casualties. But unfortunately, it was not enough because it was the final score. Russians.
There was a masterful counterattack in the center where I bottlenecked you, despite my losing most of my army up in the northern front here.
Or a non-masterful extending too far and then not being able to defend it. I did actually manage to take Warsaw at one point. I broke through in this section. I took Warsaw. I took all these villages. I was about ready to grab these, and then the Polish reinforcements and army were able to pick me off.
Rolling your 3 1s in a row.
Yeah, rolling 3 1s on the attack when I had control of Warsaw on the units that were blocking this rail line to get me the victory points for it was also not helpful. But it was really tight. I mean, every game I played of this has been really tight. 2-point spread. There's the Russian losses. I actually didn't end up resupplying with the northern army front. They were making such good progress I didn't need to, and then by the time they needed to, I couldn't afford to give away the victory points. So it was so tight, and some key inflection points turned against me. But it was fun. It was playable in about 2 hours, maybe.
I think the highlight was that 1-to-1 attack where I vaporized.
We had a huge bloody engagement down here where the Poles attacked at 1-to-1, and it was an exchange. So it wiped out the defenders, but it also wiped out the attackers
and
too.
Then didn't we also? I got vaporized around Grodno. I got vaporized too.
There was a lot of vaporization.
But hey, Justin, thanks for teaching me the game.
Yeah, thank you.
You've been coming to BottosCon for years. I don't think we've ever played a game yet, have we?
I don't think so. This is the first one after. It only took 7 years.
Took 7 years. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And we're looking at the final games of the weekend. More Columbia. Looks like victory in the Pacific. Can't stop. Some family games happening here.
No, because of the card action.
Yep. Hey, what's this?
This is Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness. Does anyone actually win? Or is it about the journey?
Well, the journey's the fun part.
Yeah.
The person who
It
has the
eventually ends in, old age.
Everybody
dies. Somebody dies eventually.
Everybody.
Everybody dies, yeah.
I like the subtle social commentary here.
But if you led the best life, you win.
Awesome. Who's the publisher of this?
It's Artipia Games.
Oh, okay, yeah. Nice. It's very colorful. The final games of the weekend. I had a really great time. I really can't wait to play John Company again. That was by far my favorite. People clearing up their games from the marketplace. Got to come in here and get mine. Some stuff sold, some stuff still around for the next one. What's going on in here? Oh yeah, the weather this morning, by the way. It started snowing while we were playing. So now we're going to take off before the roads get crazy. It looks like the snowing stopped. It looks like it's just raining now, but we did get some snowfall. We got this. I don't even know what this is. Is this Terraforming Mars? Maybe Terraforming Mars. I like the little dome cities. Those are really cool. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, it looks like it's the Terraforming Mars Colonies expansion. That's cool. Still haven't played this. It's on my list. PAX Premiere, some more Cold Relay here this weekend, 2nd edition. Love this game, so good. It was my favorite Cold game until we played John Company.
Had we known to be a little bit of creative, when did this thing actually go missing?
What else? Still ASL happening. We got Speed Circuit. Well, this is really custom racing game, Speed Circuit, or is this championship formula racing? A lot of racing happening. Looks awesome.
Just watching the Japanese engineers put away.
Yeah, this is quite the production. Pretty epic. There's even like grandstands over there. That's amazing.
Oh yeah. The garage, of course.
Yeah, the pits. Yeah, look at that. That's awesome. Fire and Stone. My copy was supposed to arrive before I showed up at the convention, and FedEx didn't deliver it. So annoying. FedEx didn't deliver it 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
I've been dying to play this. I was going to bring it and play with Cassandra. It looks so cool.
Yeah, mine showed up literally the day before. I threw it in my bag.
Awesome.
I took out my shrink wrap. Ooh, it's got back.
It looked excellent. Have you played it yet, or are you just setting up?
He has. I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I played it on Friday, and
Yeah, it looks excellent. Can't wait.
Strategy?
Just came out from Capstone Games. They're doing more historical stuff. We got Star Wars Rebellion over here. Got a couple games of Star Wars Rebellion, actually. Of course, it wouldn't be a game convention without Dominant Species being played. Very important that Dominant Species gets to the table at one point during a weekend. Some more 18XX happening. This is 1846. I'm actually thinking about picking this up from the GMT sale later this year. It's apparently a good starter 18XX. And obviously GMT quality. Tom Lehman, one of my favorite designers. And then what else do we got? I think we got a War of Whispers over here.
Places that I had built up.
Still with Case Blue. Case Blue still happening.
If I can get the other supply up there.
They've been working at it. We got a big game of MBT over here. They've been making a lot of noise, firing shells at each other. It's pretty fun. More Star Wars Rebellion. And it looks like Wings of War. Look at this. Look at the 3D clouds in the sky over the Western Front.
Shadows underneath to make sure there's no question.
Look at that. This is an amazing production. Wow. The dice are huge. How do you even roll those?
Badly.
Difficult.
Because they want to roll off the table, right? But their drama is so good.
It is.
You know, the big roll, the check if you crashed.
Well, this is epic. This is awesome. The trench lines.
We had a plane blow up.
Oh, yeah?
Let me show you what it looked like. If there's any life left in the battery.
Oh, is this the debris of the crashed?
Yeah, this is, there we go.
Oh, look at that.
Right, and so right where his plane blew up, we picked the plane up the stand. We put the explosion in.
That's awesome. Well, all right. I am back from BottosCon in Vancouver here tonight, and I thought I would put an end cap on this video on this Sunday to show you what I picked up at the convention in the swap meet room. So I did end up picking Wir sind das Volk. This is a game about Cold War era Germany, 1945 to 1989, about the Berlin Wall. You can see here it's a point-to-point map of Germany. It's a multilingual game. It's published by Histogame. They do Maria, Friedrich. I believe this is by also Richard Sivell, I believe. No, Pierre Sylvester. Yeah, Richard Sivell and Pierre Sylvester. So it's a joint design operation from them. But basically, you're sort of it's sort of a card-driven game, kind of. And it's about sort of East Germany versus West Germany. You can see the Berlin Wall there. I've been on the hunt for this for quite a while, and it was a really good price in Canadian dollars, as a matter of fact. So I ended up picking it up. Very excited to play that. I believe it's a 2-player game. Histogame, yeah, it's a 2-player game. Histogame does really good stuff. The second game I picked up, as if I needed more games, was this, At Any Cost Metz. Again, a really amazing price. As you know, if you watch my GMT videos from earlier this year, from spring, I played this with a friend of mine. This is Herman Luttman's Blind Swords system about this one's Franco-Prussian War. I'm not much of a Civil War fan, so any game, so this system, which I enjoyed when I played the first scenario out of this, I was looking for other options, and obviously this has been out of print for a while, but someone was selling this basically near mint copy. At the show, counters are all clipped very nicely. Here, I'll show you inside. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to pick it up. I basically traded some games that I sold for this, D10s here. Here's the rules of play. I'm not sure if there's errata. The map is really nice. It's got a very period-like color palette to it, you know, from that period. That's Marlatour, the famous site of the charge by the Prussians. The CRTs. I believe there might be some errata to the CRTs, if I'm not mistaken. That's fire. There's fire combat, and there's a TEC. Here's event chit, so it explains the event chit. So again, Blind Swords, it's an event chit pull system, and here are the scenario cards. And there are different. Not only are there activation chits, but there are also event chits that you can use to like swing the tide of battle. So here are all the counters. You can see the person who owned this kept it really nice, trimmed the counters very nicely. So I'm very excited, looking forward to actually playing the longer scenario of this, getting some more Blind Swords in my life. That's At Any Cost Metz, 1870, great price, Wir sind das Volk. And that's the haul from BottosCon, a very successful, very enjoyable trip, played a lot of great games, had a lot of fun. Can't wait to do it again next year. Rob, thanks for putting on a good show, and thanks for the game of Warsaw 1920 this morning. I will have, coming up on the channel, some coverage of SD HistCon next weekend, and before that, you'll probably see an unboxing of Vienna Fire and Stone, the new release that you saw in the clip before this. And yeah, we'll just plug on through the winter. I'm aiming to try and get, I have sort of a pile of shame, and I'm aiming to try and get as many of the games that have come out this year that I have yet to play played by the end of the year. So we'll see how that goes as I put together my list, my top 10 list, which should come out in late December, early January. Thanks for watching this. Hope you enjoyed. More coverage next weekend. Stay tuned.